Alright, we will be looking at the Arduino kit that we got for the Southwood Robotics. This is it right here. I'm going to open it up, assemble the base, give a few hints, thoughts about what to do to make it a less painful experience, and that'll be this video. So, this here is the box. Inside you've got a book, which is definitely a good thing. Then we've got this that folds up, and I've already been in here. This is a nice box because it's got a place for everything, and so you can keep all your stuff together. This is what I'm going to go and assemble, and I'm going to see how this works, having never done this before. And the correct way to do this is to read the book, but I went ahead. So we need to cut off these feet. Notice that I put a safety block wood underneath where I'm cutting so that I do not harm my desk. This is fairly stout material, so if you do this on a wooden table, you will definitely maul it. So do protect. Whatever surface you're working on. Okay, get those out of the way. Cut this free. And those just snap off, so that is the board for the Arduino and the breadboard. Mount on this. Okay. And these function as feet. We'll see how they fit in here. They go like that. That. Ta-da. So there is the feet. Now we come over here. You can pull out the Arduino board. Here's the Arduino. It is set up to fit like there. This is the breadboard. It comes with a bunch of jumper cables. Pull this breadboard out. And that is how this stuff is supposed to be mounted. This has a sticky on it, so that'll work. This has some screws, and I'm going to do that in the next little clip. So There's supposed to be 3 screws to hold this Arduino down to the base, but I haven't found them yet. So I'm going on to the next step, and maybe I'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone. This is the electronics kit, the parts that is in the kit. So I'm going to open this up, dump it into the box that it came out of. Now I'm going to get a Ziploc bag, open it up, and transfer all this stuff into here, seeing if I can find my screws along the way. Just capacitors, more capacitors, some jumper wires for power, that's nice, more LEDs, that's my motor chip controller, speaker, success. Now I'll just go and say, hey, look, I found parts, but 1 screw, 2 screws, 3 screws, and 3 nuts. Everything else is electronic. I'm just going to dump it in here. Now I have a sealed container that I can keep this stuff in, and I'll know that it won't slip out through some opening and get away from me. I'm going to bring up the book. I'm going to double check that indeed this instruction or the book talked about using nuts to do this whole thing. It doesn't mention nuts, but the nuts would be good spacers. Okay, the book doesn't explicitly mention it, but after putting this thing together once and looking at what I'd done and the problems, I've decided that these 3 pieces here that I did not see called out in the book for anything and came out of this row here in the board are intended to be spacers. So I'm going to reassemble this with these things on the bottom between like that and between these 2. So put this here, line these suckers up, throw a nut on them, throw a nut on this one, this guy, okay. This one is having interference with the solder pads. That is the now we'll try and off at an angle like that. Okay, now he's come all the way through. So I can put this nut on. This may be why they didn't call it out, is because this looks ugly. But having this spaced up is good because it keeps us from pushing on the solder stuff that's on the bottom of the board. And otherwise, some of these screws were long enough that they were hitting the ground before these feet were, so it wasn't sitting flat. Now that should not be an issue. So yeah, now it sits flat. We just have to put up with the fact that that's ugly. And then once you've got this sitting flat, you've got these tightened up. Again, as I did before, now that you won't see, but now I'm doing it a second time. You want to put some compound on the back side of these nuts so that they don't vibrate loose with your handling of them. I'm using rubber cement because that's what I found. Nail polish is a classic thing to use, probably because it comes in bright colors and you know whether or not you did it already. Elmer's glue would work pretty well also. Just something so that the threads don't have a chance to vibrate and work loose. So I'm going to leave that board like that, sitting up good like that now, and I'm going to let it dry here, and that concludes this part of the video. So we got that. I'm going to take this, peel off the back of this. And since there is an up and a down on the whiting, I'll just go ahead and make certain that I get this up and down matched the same way. So there is that complete piece.